Okay, this week's session's about turn-taking, and it's about reading instructions, working together and making sure it's fair and you're taking turns.
Rosie Miller is a learning mentor at St Paul's Catholic Primary School on the Paulsgrove estate on the outskirts of Portsmouth. With fellow learning mentor Jackie Wallace, she's been instrumental in improving behaviour in the school, in part through social skills classes like this.
Life isn't fair sometimes, so we won't be helping you very much at all. We'll be standing back and watching you take turns, doing things fairly, okay?
Rosie's behaviour interventions stem from a time several years ago when the school identified a number of children with severe behavioural problems.
The behaviours were to do with swearing, kicking, biting, stone throwing, rudeness in the classroom, children refusing adults when they've been asked to do something reasonable.
What we're going to do is go straight on now. We're going to do a piece of drama about not getting your own way and dealing with it.
The school uses sleuth software to track and analyse behaviour and help to identify pupils who will benefit from intervention.
So, how do we start off? Well, she needs to leave the classroom, so she picks someone, and that's me, and then Sam has a paddy and runs out of the room.
Selected children attend social skills classes one afternoon a week, usually for 12 to 16 weeks.
So, when you're ready, Jess, your group can begin.
Today we're going to talk about friendship. Who knows what makes a good friend? Joshua? Well, they're just really good friends, like they listen to you and they just don't really boss you around. Right, where's Sam just gone? He's gone off in a paddy because he got picked last. I don't know. And again. Sam, out of paddy place. No more paddies.
The aims of the social skills course is to give them the skills to enable them to stay in school, to enable them to cope in everyday life and become decent citizens when they leave school and move on into the community. Well done.
Today is the 11th session with this group. Rosie is hoping to see significant progress.
Several weeks ago we started with your basics, turn-taking, sharing, coping with not getting your own way, and what we do is we cover that within the first sort of 6 to 8 weeks, but then we revisit it later on because we need to know that they're able to do these skills.
Can I do some spelling? Yeah, right, what's the next?
If I give you an example of the group when we first took them out on week 1, 2 or 3, in the first 3 weeks we had children crying because they can't get their own way, storming out of the room, running around the school where we had to track them down. It's just, I don't want to do that, I want my own way, and we have to deal with that.
No, Sam, you can go first. Harrison, he hasn't done much.
With the social skills, I've planned that from the beginning, and I've been given total freedom. I obviously show our special needs coordinator the planning, and she will okay it. I'm given the freedom to do basically whatever we need to do.
Well, I think the role of headship has changed, and where heads very much wanted to keep their finger on everything that was happening in school, the job has grown and grown to the point where you can't actually do that. So it's a question of looking for other talent amongst the staff and asking if there are other people who could take over very specific roles. And in that respect, Rosie has come to the fore.
So first of all, if you want to say it, you don't have to, about what you've learnt today.
I've learnt the big thing today about sharing. We all discussed it, like our group, when we was doing the cooking flapjacks. We all discussed it before, instead of going, oh, I want to do that first.
Good boy, taking turns, that's what it's all about, being fair to everybody. Mrs. Wallace has got the stickers. You decide who you want to compliment on what you think that they need a sticker for and why, and you give it out.
I'm going to give one to Greg because he hasn't had a strop today for not doing what he wanted to do. He didn't go in a strop and he didn't mind what he wanted to do.
The efficacy of the social skills classes is borne out by the behaviour analysis software, which tracks pupils who've completed the intervention.
How did it feel having a compliment, a positive remark, and getting a sticker?
I felt like they were my best friends.
That's lovely.
What we have found is that a lot of our children who had most difficulty began to take a much lower profile in terms of what went on, both in the classroom but mostly out on the playground. So we could identify quite quickly that it was having an effect.
I'm picking Miss Miller for being so helpful today.
Learning mentors from across Portsmouth have been introduced to Rosie's and Jackie's ideas, and at St Paul's, class teachers have been better able to focus on teaching.
The difference that I see for the rest of the class when these children participate in these social groups is that the whole class is a lot more calm, and I have all my attention on everybody then, not just focused on one child.
Rosie also works with Jackie and the school's special needs coordinator in running parent power courses. They boost parenting skills and complement the work done with pupils.
Last time we felt that we needed to target the parents of the Key Stage 1 children. And the ideal opportunity to do that will be when we have the new parents in the middle of June, when they come in to do the children do the taster mornings in reception.
There will always be new pupils and parents who'll benefit from Rosie's skills and commitment. But for Fran Chapman, the difference Rosie has made is long since apparent.
Looking back over the last few years, we can see that the school has moved tremendously, and the whole atmosphere in school has become very calm. Rosie is an exceptional person, but she is a hard taskmaster. They know that they have to meet her standards, and her standards are high, and that brings out the best in them.
So we've got all these speech marks, haven't we? People talking to each other. And then we've got some special punctuation here. I think it's because they want you to pause his thinking. So they've got to debate, haven't they, and decide, OK, let's see what they do.
200 miles away at Bracken Lane Primary School in Retford, senior teaching assistant Helen Skelton is making the difference to children's education through the Better Reading Partnership.
Rescue Centre. That was a really hard word, that. Well done for reading that. Because it doesn't sound like it's going to be a k at the front, does it? What does it sound like it should be?
I say certain.
It does sound like s at the beginning, doesn't it? Good boy.
It's a 10-week programme to develop literacy, in which adult reading partners work one-to-one with children.
Barking question.
Right, let's break it down again. Look, what's that word?
Started.
That's well done.
Barking questions. What breed are you? What variety of dog?
I think the Better Reading Partnership sort of fell into my lap at a staff meeting, as sometimes these things do. It was in the any other business section, and our head said, is anybody interested in doing this and going on the training and seeing what it was all about? And everybody, as you do, averted their eyes and looked at the floor, and suddenly their shoes were very interesting. And I sort of said, I'll do it, I'll go.
Helen is conscious that her willingness to take on new things has been complemented by supportive management.
I think any school worth its salt would look at the people within that team and value them for what they are and giving people opportunities. And it's also, I think, about being proactive, about TAs in their role, taking on things if they're offered something, and having the confidence in themselves to do that.
I think historically the potential of teaching assistants has been overlooked. I think very much their role has changed over time, and they've now gone from the old image of a classroom assistant who would, mix the paint and tidy things away. Leaders now and leadership teams in schools are now looking at the characteristics of the staff and actually identifying who has the talents and enabling those talents to be nurtured.
So how do you think it's gone this time? How have we found it?
I think it's been fine. I think we could do with some new books.
Helen still works one-to-one with pupils, but her primary role has always been coordinating the reading scheme. This includes regular meetings with existing reading partners and being persuasive when it comes to recruiting and training new ones.
The culture within our school has very much had volunteering embedded in it. And I think basically I've come along and capitalised on that. I do feel that people are running in the opposite direction sometimes on the playground when they see me. Oh, there's that woman again. What does she want? Well, there's a new course come through. How do you fancy this? Do you feel this might be beneficial to you? And you also couch it in the terms where it is, you're choosing the people that you know are they're ready to do something for themselves as well.
Jennie Heath has been a reading partner for 6 years, and she's seen how Helen makes things happen.
She's like a dog with a bone, really. It has been her baby, Better Reading Partnership, and she took it and she ran with it. And she has made it a success in school. She has recruited people, because people don't have time, but she has managed to have quite a little army of mums who come in and do it, and they all enjoy it.
They have made a huge difference. I'm really pleased. They've done very, very well.
Yes.
When I've done the teacher assessment, I'm really concerned about her because she hasn't made the progress that I was expecting.
Right.
Helen works with class teachers to identify which pupils would benefit most from the scheme. Year 2 teacher Lizzy Moore is keen to select the next children from her class, having witnessed powerful effects on previous groups.
The Better Reading Partnership has had a huge impact on the children in my class because the children that I chose tended to lack confidence, and they were the children that were just bubbling under, and they hadn't got the strategies there to be fully independent readers. And now those children are able to go and choose their own books, and they can read them independently, they're enthusiastic, and their levels have just gone up.
Now this morning we've got some other successes to celebrate, and it's not celebrating writing, it's celebrating reading, isn't it, Mrs. Skelton?
It is, yes,
so,
it is.
Mrs. Skelton, if you'd like to tell us who we're celebrating this morning.
Thank you, Mrs. Ratcliffe. These children were specially chosen, not because they couldn't read, but because they could read, and we wanted them to make them really fantastic readers, okay? They were good readers before, now they're fantastic readers.
Helen has been very careful to ensure that the reading scheme is viewed as something for pupils to aspire to, not as a chore. Completion of the course is deliberately rewarded with certificates, book tokens, and a very public acknowledgement in assembly. The results of her hard work are easily quantified.
In the previous Year 6 cohort of children who took part in the Better Reading Partnership, 6 children were taking part, and of those children, 1 child actually managed to achieve a level 5, which was a staggering achievement, which is way above what you'd expect a child at Year 6 to achieve. 3 of the children achieved a level 4, which was astounding, and 2 of the children managed to get a level 3, which was beyond what we'd actually anticipated for them.
Everyone at the school acknowledges the Better Reading Partnership is a team effort, but by common consent, Helen is the driving force who not only launched it, but ensures it continues to make a difference at the school.
To make a project like the Better Reading Partnership work, you need to have the right person, and for us, Helen is that person. So it really is down to her personality and her ability to coordinate that it's been such a success.